Defending national champions, UConn Huskies score with Kayleigh Heckel. But what else do they have in store for the rest of the country with their incoming recruiting class? We're going to talk about that up next on the Hoops Cat Pod.
Let's get it, 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 let's get it. Yeah. UConn, baby. Home of the champions. Let's go.
All right. Welcome to the Hoops Cat Pod. I'm with EJ Arrow, girls basketball scout and AAU scout at the high school level, content creator, owner of EJ's Evals. EJ, listen, thank you for coming in. You know, we've been talking behind the scenes a little bit on how we can get you on the show, and we just had a huge, I know we were going to talk about the freshmen and beyond, but quickly talk to me about what UConn did in the transfer portal by adding a Serah Williams from Wisconsin, and on top of it, Kayleigh Heckel, who is coming back to the East Coast, born in Greenwich, not really a Connecticut homecoming, but she's a New York gal from USC last year. What do those two transfers do to this team?
I mean, what don't they? What don't they do? You have someone in Kayleigh Heckel who comes in. You know, she's experienced. She's played elite high school basketball at Lehigh. You know, she comes over from USC one season, and she can come in and back up KK Arnold, who I think is going to start at that point guard role. And I think she's going to be able to find AZ and find the shooters in the corner. She's going to be able to feed Serah, you know, the other transfer who's comes in from Wisconsin and is just, I mean, what more can you say about her? She's incredible. I mean, they really hit the jackpot with this one.
Let me ask you this question, because one of our contributors named T. Baker, you may know him. He does, writes for the Next, Big East beat reporter. Mm-hmm. Been talking about the Serahs, right? Now you have Serah Williams, Serah Strong. There are people in UConn land, if we take them aside, and UConn Nation, who's very spoiled, and they know it, that were like, we don't need Kayleigh Heckel. What do you say to those folks? Because you said what I've said, which is she's probably not going to start. KK Arnold's going to start. Why do you think she chose UConn then? Like, if she's going to come in and essentially be a backup, do you think it's just kind of the ability to come in and be another one of these talented players that how many times Geno has had these types of teams before?
So a few things here I think that come into play. She's closer to home, first and foremost. I think she comes into a championship pedigree, a program who's well established as the standard, continues to be the standard in women's basketball at the college level. And I think she knows that, you know, she's not a selfish player. She has talent all around her. You know, there's a lot of guards on this team. So she might not get the most minutes, but she's going to be efficient in these minutes, and she's going to be able to find, like I said, shooters. She's going to be able to back up KK Arnold, and you know, they have a very strong second string on this team coming into this year. It's actually incredible. I can't even believe the strength that this team has just at every position. So she's going to come in hot. She's going to come in ready to work and ready to get that, you know, back to back. For you,
I don't disagree, man. Like, and they've filled out this roster. It's 15 deep. Like, there's no more. Like, there's, you know, you have there's seniors, Caroline and Ducharme and Serah Williams, AZ. Then you have KK, Ice Brady, Ashlyn Shade. Then you have this slew of sophomores, which I think the team is incredibly excited about, with Ali Zabel, Serah Strong, Ayanna Patterson coming off injury, Kayleigh, Geno Auriemma, Morgan Shelley, and then the freshmen that we're going to talk about. So, it's a pretty incredible put together roster here. But the main reason I wanted EJ to come in is to talk about these talented freshmen. So we're going to take literally a 10 to 15 second break. And when we come back, we want to talk about the freshmen, Blanca, Kellis, and Gandy, and then look to beyond of what this team is looking for in the future. We'll be right back. And we're back on the Hoops Cat Pod. I'm your host, Mark Zanetto. We're here with EJ Arrow. EJ, let's talk about this incredibly talented, kind of under the radar UConn class, because none of them are McDonald's All-Americans. They've had, you know, there's one, I guess, right outside in Kayleigh Fisher. I've been saying her name wrong for years, for at least this year. But we got that right. And then we have two international players, Blanca Quinones and Gandhi Malumamel. So those two names I know I'm pronouncing right because I've done stories on them. So talk to me about this, like what I feel like is a pretty under the radar class that is super talented for Geno's staff.
Yeah, so it's definitely a extremely underrated class. They are, I think, one of the lowest ranked classes that UConn's had in a little bit. I don't think there's any top 20 recruits in this one. I think Kayleigh might be ranked number 21. I'm not sure. But that doesn't matter because the amount of talent in these three, Blanca, Gandhi, Kayleigh, it's crazy. Geno and company know what they're doing. Kayleigh comes in as a dynamic guard who can really play the one or the two. I mean, she can handle, she's electric, she's going to push the pace, she plays defense. She's really, really, really good. Gandhi comes in, she's 6'5", 6'6". She's seasoned in the respect that she has played overseas for the Irish national team. But a lot of people don't know that she just started playing organized basketball not that many years ago. So she's still new in that respect, but she has international experience. So she brings, good flavor to this team. And then we have Blanca, who is, you want to talk about experience. She's been playing pro ball since I think she was 14,
Right.
Over in Italy. She's going to be one of the best players, in my opinion, in the country. As a rookie, I think she's going to come in and she is just going to, I think take over. And I think she is going to start right away. I have put her in my immediate starting five.
Okay. Who do you think? Okay, so let's pause right there because I think Blanca's fantastic. When I did a show about 6 months ago, I had Alfred Corriette on, and we talked about some of his international scouting because he covers the Liberty and he does a lot of international stuff. So we did a whole thing on Blanca, and I put up some clips of stuff that we can show, and she blew me away between her ability to get out and transition, her two-way game in terms of the way she plays defense. She fits what Geno wants because she's kind of a no-nonsense, no frills. She's dynamic for sure, but she just gets out and she runs. Talk to me about if she starts. Like, what's that starting five look like? Who are you putting out there?
I think that starting five is going to look like KK at the 1. I'm putting AZ, of course, at the 2. We're bringing in, I would say, Serah Strong, obviously, at the 3. The best player in the country, in my opinion. I'm bringing in Blanca at the 4 and Sarah Williams at the 5.
So no Jana, huh? You think Jana doesn't start, huh?
I don't think she starts right away. I don't think she starts right away.
I mean, listen, whenever you bring in a transfer that's a senior in particular, they typically don't come off the bench. So that's not a bad assessment. I don't disagree with you there.
He's a machine.
Yeah,
Sarah Williams is an absolute double machine.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. I love speculation right now because that's all it is, right? And why do you think Blanca, I'll phrase it a different way. What does Blanca do so well that she's going to crack a starting lineup of a team that just literally ran through the NCAA tournament, beating everybody by a minimum of 25 points?
I think she's very disciplined. I think she's a fundamentally sound player. And I think just that experience, that pro experience, I mean, she's played for Ecuador national team, the senior national team. And like I said, she's been playing over at the pro level since she was about 14 or 15. So that experience alone, competing against well-seasoned players over there, I think she's going to come in ready. She's going to be one of the most experienced players that he's ever brought in. She's ready, and that I think is gonna be enough to earn her that starting spot. Like I said, it's the discipline that she comes with. She knows what to do on both sides of the ball, and she knows, I think, how to fit that program well. I think she'll be able to kick out. She'll be able to play in the post and the defense. She'll be able to lock it down as well.
I love it. I mean, a prototypical Geno Auriemma player. I don't think he really likes to recruit anybody who can't play offense and defense. So good assessment there. We did an entire story and had Kieran Quinn on talking about Gandhi Malumamel and her journey from the Congo to Ireland and then now in Jersey and being now a UConn recruit. Outside of how incredible her story is to be here and be a member of this now 25, 26 UConn class, what is her upside? Because from what we've heard, right now she's a rim runner, can get off the block as quick as possible, get to the rim, that she's a project on offense, but defensively she can be an immediate impact type player. What are your thoughts about her? They don't need to bring her along because of how deep the team is, but I'm just curious. If they did, worst case scenario, Gandhi has to play a lot next year. Not the worst thing in the world. She's, a pretty good recruit. So what's your eval with Gandhi?
I think she is going to bring a lot to both sides of the ball. Over the past 2 years alone that I've been watching her, she's one of my Jersey girls. So I've watched her a lot. She has just gotten better and better. The trajectory just continues to climb. The upside is tremendous. I've called her before Aaliyah Edwards 2.0 because of the way she moves and the way she's beginning to develop a little bit of a mid-range shot that's kind of getting more consistent as the time passes. She's not just a player who plays at the rim. She can stretch out a little bit. She's pretty darn quick for her size. Like I said, about 6'5", 6'6", depending on who you ask on any given day.
Yeah.
They love her. I remember speaking with Jamel a few years ago at an AAU event in Atlantic City, and she came to watch her, and she just absolutely loves her. She loves how much of a beast she is on the court. She's the nicest, most soft-spoken girl off the court. When she gets on the court, it's a totally different person. She's no nonsense. She's there to dominate, as she's told me before. She wants to be known as a dominant player.
That's fantastic. Gotta love players like that can kind of flip a script or flip a switch and just really attack the way their coach wants them to, but then off the court they can be the nicest person in the world. So that's really cool to hear. And then last but not least, Kayleigh Fisher. Apologies to Kayleigh for saying her name wrong like 10,000 times before today. Talk to me about her a little bit. You mentioned her at the beginning about her being dynamic. Do you think, this is more asking because you know these kids a lot better than I do. You've been at these events. Do you think that a part of her, and this is, again, total speculation, your opinion, do you think that a part of her sees the Kayleigh Heckel signing as all right, bet I'm gonna show them that I'm even more ready than they potentially expect? Because I know that the Kayleigh Heckel signing, no matter how nice of a person you are, it's got to get your competitive juices flowing if you're a player coming into this team and she plays your position.
Listen, one thing about Kayleigh Fisher, and I want everybody to know this if they don't already know it, she is the ultimate competitor, and she's just absolutely phenomenal on the court, and she hates to lose more than she loves to win. So she's going to come in, and I do think she's going to look at this as a little bit of a challenge and say, okay, bet I want this playing time, and I'm going to get it, and I'm going to earn it.
I mean, that's music to my ears, and I'm sure a lot of Husky fans' ears, and really just fans of basketball in general. EJ, real quick, tell people where they can find you on social media, and if they want to see your work and what you do.
Yeah, so they can find me on Twitter, also known as X now. You can find me on Instagram. The handle's the same. It's EJ Arrow, EJAYARROW. And yeah, kick it with me on there. Stay up to date with all the happenings and, girls and women's basketball across the board, really. I cover it all.
I love it. Again, take a quick break, and then I want to get this because this is something that is not anywhere near my expertise. So I really want to get EJ's opinion and thoughts about who UConn's going after beyond this year. Obviously, the recruiting never stops in major college basketball. So we're going to take a quick 6-second break, and then we'll be right back with EJR. All right, back on the Hoops Cap Pod here with your host Mark Zanetto. We're here with EJ Arrow of EJ's Evals, a girls scout in the Jersey area, hotbed of basketball activity. So beyond this year, who are your top 3 or 4, maybe 5 players that this women's team, UConn, is targeting for the 26 and beyond?
So first and foremost, the number one player in the 26 class, Sanai Hall, someone who just recently just blew me away. I watched her last month and interviewed her a little bit and had a chance to just talk, hoops, and she's incredible. She's an amazing player. Again, like Gandhi, the nicest girl off the court, but when she hits the court, you don't want to be her opponent. You don't want to be her enemy. I think she is definitely in the running. And then there's Jersey Robinson, who Geno seems to really love. She plays incredibly big guard basketball. She's extremely physical, extremely strong. And then there's one player who I might just want to give you an exclusive right now.
Please.
And the first time I've ever made a bold prediction like this online or posted it. I think they are going to land Olivia Vukosa.
Really?
The big out of Christ the King. I am willing to bet that they are going to land her, which would be just monumental. She's a 6'4", 6'5".
Yep.
Again, international experience, FIBA ball. She's very good. Let's just put it. She's very.
Let me ask you this question, because I actually have talked about Olivia Vukosa, and it was a while back. Yeah. So when you said that name, my ears perked up. Do you think that Geno is crazy like a fox and is essentially doing a lot of this international or FIBA recruiting because of any other reason other than these guys are good? But like, it kind of Olivia is more high profile than Blanca, but do you get what I'm saying? Like it's almost like a little under the radar where he's not dealing solely with American born players. And listen, Geno always has a soft place in his heart, being an immigrant himself, coming over from Italy. So like, I think there's got to be a little bit of that strategy involved. Do you agree?
I do agree. I agree. Absolutely. I think he sees, the flavor and the discipline, and the physicality. They play very physical over there. The whistle doesn't really blow in FIBA ball like it blows here. They let them play, sometimes a little too much. So they come in and they're tough. And he loves a tough player, especially a tough big.
Absolutely. No, I think you're right. Let me ask you this last question before I let you go. Geno's not a spring chicken, and I don't think he's going to go past this contract, which is another 3-4 years, I believe. Minimum 3. I think that's actually 4. Have recruits at all, and you don't have to tell me who, but have recruits at all like talked about that on the trail, like where it's like, I want to go to UConn, but I don't necessarily know how long Geno is going to be there for? Or have they talked to recruits, and basically assured them that, hey, Geno's going to be here for a while? I'm just curious because no one knows and no one talks about it in stores because, it's like, why do we want to worry about that until it happens? But people like me speculate about stuff like that.
I think we all do. That's been some chatter I've heard lately, not amongst recruits, but amongst everyone else.
Gotcha.
I don't think they're thinking of that, to be honest. I think UConn is UConn, and of course Geno has everything to do with that. I believe UConn will still be UConn after he's gone. I don't think that changes. So no, I don't think they're worried about that or looking into that at all. However, I don't think he leaves before Serah Strong graduates.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he leaves before Maya Moore 2.0 graduates. I'll tell you that.
Okay. We're on the same page there because and we can talk about this another day, but I said if Serah Strong was draft eligible, she'd be my number 1 pick in the draft, like immediately. So
I agree.
That's me. All right. Listen, best player in the country. Hey, don't start agreeing with me, and then people are going to think you're a homer like me. Now, listen, fantastic to have you. EJ Arrow, go check him out. Love to have him back in the future. So this has been another episode of the Hoops Cat Pod. I'm your host, Mark Sneto, for EJ Arrow. You know what it is. Go Huskies.
Let's get it, let's get it. Let's get it, let's get it. Yeah. UConn, baby. Home of the champions. Let's go.